need purification tablets?
So how else can we get water?
Well, I would hold us back to focus on what we said we want to focus on. What do we actually need? Not tied to this, but like
Okay.
we said, we need water.
Gotta figure out water.
We need
Gotta figure out shelter
shelter,
warmth.
right? So just like naming our needs, and then we can actually pivot.
Yeah.
Or the candles.
We gotta figure out navigation. And.
Should I list those?
Yeah, we should,
And we're
yeah.
gonna need food.
Okay.
We need food. And we also need a way to signal where we are so that people know to come find
Right.
us.
How long do we think this is gonna take to get to the Mayan Tower? Because that, I feel like, does make an impact on what we decided before.
So it's snowy, I'm estimating a 20-mile route down and around.
Mm-hmm.
We're all miserable, so we're not moving fast, so let's call it best pace a mile an hour. And with the significance, so let's assume that we're looking at probably a 2-day trip, best case.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you said water and
War. Although I kinda liked war, that was inspiring.
I know, I was like, I thought we said warm
So
something.
water or warmth, maybe shelter is the right way to phrase warmth. Yeah.
Food and
Food, signaling, and navigation.
Just as a time check, it's about 5 hours.
Okay.
And these aren't in any rank
No,
order,
they're
right?
not.
They're
Right.
just our needs.
That's the alert.
Okay.
Do we want to try to
Mm.
figure out like a top 3 things, top 4 things?
Yeah, maybe. And I thought Austin brought up a really important point. Just because we have purification tablets doesn't mean that's the only way to get water. So as we
Right.
think about these things, this is where all of us thinking creatively can figure out what else can we use them for besides our obvious purpose.
Do we have a container to put purified water in?
Yeah, that's a great question. Depends on what we do with the rum and the maple syrup, right?
Right.
True.
Right.
Okay. So do we wanna start making cases for things we think might be in the top 5?
Yeah.
I found it useful when I was doing rankings to think about what I thought might be useless, because it sort of, when I had fewer things to rank, it actually made it easier. I don't know if that would be a useful practice.
I also thought about like top 5 and bottom 5.
Yeah,
Do
for
you remember
sure.
like top 3 and bottom 3?
Yeah.
Where do you want to
Alright,
start?
so top 5.
yeah, top 5.
I'm gonna star our top 5.
I would like purification tablets,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I think we're gonna need snowshoes.
there's
So there are
Oh,
3
yeah.
pairs, and
Thank you.
we're gonna see snowdrifts. So the snow is 5 to 7 inches of snow on the ground, but enormous variation because of wind. So we're gonna have drifts. That means that actually our 20-mile hike, it probably ends up being more like 25, because we're gonna end up going, okay, we can't get through that, we're gonna have to skirt around it. That's probably the impact with snowshoes.
Is it dark? I'm thinking a flashlight might be a priority.
Bingo.
Yeah, let's say we're like 2.
It depends. So this is an Arctic landscape, and if there's a decent moon and it's bright,
It actually
moon on
looks like-
snow
Yeah.
and moon on water. I'm not sure the
flashlight is 14.
Yeah, I'm not sure the
For
flashlight.
signaling.
Mirror.
You've got the mirror
Well,
still up.
except that it's also not real sunny. 1 day in 10, fairly clear.
What about a hand axe in order to like build?
I thought that was important.
Yeah, especially if we end up to the point where the top of our lakes are freezing and we need to dash through to be able to get water out easily.
Sleeping bags.
Yeah,
I
I was
think
gonna
the
say warm.
Yeah, the sleeping bags make it. The matches.
Yeah, matches.
Yeah. So what's interesting about that is I think we have some instant fire starter here.
The rum?
Matches and rum. As much as I think we would all like to drink the rum,
Yeah.
Should say some rum for any.
we probably shouldn't be drinking rum at all.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
actually
yeah.
really bad in this
Yeah.
situation, but it would be really great as
Yeah.
to help us start a fire.
Is that a top 5 though?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think warmth, we said warmth was one of our priorities, so that's what I'm basing off of.
Well,
Okay.
maybe if we've got her.
I don't know that we need the purification tablets.
I
Because we're only, I mean, it's 2 days, right? So like,
So.
so obviously you don't wanna go without water for 2 days, but there are all these lakes, there's snow.
And it's
So this is
not
actually
downtown
14 days before
Boston.
people look at us,
Yeah.
look for us. We're only good without water for 3 days. And if we don't purify it using tablets, how else are we going to purify it? We can boil it, but do we have anything to boil it in?
I would say I knew someone who got lost in like the Amazon forest for 10 days and they didn't have purification tablets. It was a man and a woman and they just filtered the water through the woman's broth and that was fine for
We
them.
can do that. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Like it's not foolproof against everything.
We can
have
certainly
certain
assess that
things.
risk. If there are beavers in these waters, giving ourselves diarrhea with Giardia would probably kill us in this situation. So,
You run a lot of risks with that.
yeah, no, you do. That's the point of the game, right? I would probably take the purification tablets.
How many are there?
That's just,
I don't think it was
it's a
bottle.
bottle, yeah.
I know the pyration were what we use these for, but would the canvas or rope be helpful in getting from point A to point B?
The shelter as well.
Yeah.
Wind blocks and things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the canvas could also be helpful for like trying to keep things dry if we do have to cross river.
All right, let's stay with our
Transporting
process though. We need one more for top 5 and then we're gonna go with bottom 5.
Okay, good point.
So one more for top 5.
Compass, look, I think the compass probably makes top 5. Yeah, I feel like that.
Okay. Okay,
Is
are those our top 5?
The North Star book is not a map.
So that's a really interesting question. I was wondering if that might also be Firestarter, or if that's just, if it's how to navigate,
If we have the compass, we don't need the North Star book, right?
I'm feeling pretty comfortable that I can find the North Star at night and figure out where night is. I
Right.
know most of my daytime tricks rely on the sun, which looks like we don't have a lot of. I'm comfortable reading a map, but that's also just me, and if anything happened to me, and we had made a decision based on one person, that would be a bad decision, right?
I thought maple syrup was really important because it's just like an easy food source.
It is. That's
Like it's not nutritious.
No, it makes great energy gel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The issue is that like it would be great to have all of these things. How do we pick the top 5?
Now we need bottom 5. That's where we're at.
I feel like we're not done with the top 5.
We had 5, we might not agree on.
I think
all
we're
of
going
them.
back and forth on some of these.
Yeah.
So why don't we make a decision about what we want to do next? Do we want to spend a few more minutes solidifying top 5? It's 9:10.
I don't like crossing out things, so should we go to bottom 5?
And then maybe revisit the top 5 even though we know they're not for sure yet.
I can take everything, right?
Bye to the alarm clock.
The alarm clock was my last.
Yeah, I'm struggling to
Right, like
see
what is
usage
one
on
more?
that.
Yeah.
So who's good with like taking stuff apart and building things?
And like knowing what's in it. I mean, like what's in an alarm.
Yeah,
I mean,
what else could you use an alarm clock?
You could use it, I think, to like ward off any like predators, presumably, if there were
Oh,
any.
the noise.
Because you could like turn, you could like set the noise.
Make that sound with our mouths.
Yeah, absolutely. I scared off grizzly bears by yelling at them.
Run it out
I
there.
think we said we
Use
use
valid.
Yeah.
I think
That's good
I
creative
think in the interest
thinking.
of time, we should keep that in our bottom 5 and keep
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, agreed.
What about the book entitled North Star Navigation? Now,
Kind of lean there too, yeah.
I have
Um,
bottom 5 too.
okay.
The inner tube? What is that for?
Is that about
Use that
moving,
for
Cross,
something?
like,
I don't know.
keeping things
So,
dry,
I
moving
just-
things across
yeah,
bodies of
yeah.
water?
It's got a puncture in it.
Oh, that's true, so it won't flow.
Well, we have that, we have
So-
that canvas
Rubber
though.
birds for a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah, that's a good point. We could cut it up and use it for sucking chest wood. Sorry, I just went through wilderness first aid. That's all that I can
So we can.
I don't know.
Not that one, but.
So get rid of also the 3 pairs of snowshoes, right?
Yeah, because we all have hunting boots, no?
I mean, but
Yeah,
it's also, it's made out of wood, isn't it? So I mean, that could be.
We will have.
Fire.
We've got Tundra and
Yellow.
Pandex.
Yeah.
What about the
Down
flashlight? We
things?
said that maybe it wasn't.
I put the flashlight in my bottom 5, but.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did too, even though I think we need everything, but like, if we have to
Yeah.
read them.
I don't know. You're saying that it would just be the light at night wouldn't be a problem because of the moon and the snow and stuff like that.
Depending on the.
Depends on the
yeah,
time of month.
It could either be really well lit at night or
Yeah.
pitch black at night.
So if we wanted to keep it moving at night, I think the flashlight might be, like, I feel like we're just betting that it won't be. That like, kind of hoping we'll have like one of those light nights, but I feel like the flashlight could actually be fairly useful.
What's the
Yeah, it's hard to move with a group this big with one flashlight.
Right,
It
what's
just,
the likelihood of us
It getting
moving?
at night.
yeah, I suspect we're gonna hunker. and huddle.
Colder, yeah.
Okay.
Tired.
What about the razor kit and mirror? I didn't see what that was.
Mirror, you
Mirror for
flashlight.
signaling. Yeah.
But is that gonna work with like a plane?
Well,
Yes.
again, they're not looking,
Oh.
but they're
Yeah.
not looking for us
Yeah,
yet, right?
so-
So it's that whole, like,
yeah.
how
Have-
useful it would be versus what would keep us alive.
So it's an active measure to signal something that's flying, whereas a passive measure would be to spell out help using a bunch of rocks. We should do both.
Right.
And it doesn't, we don't have to be found by people.
Didn't say inner tube was
found by
found by-
anyone.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
I think maybe it is too.
Alright, so that's our bottom 5.
Yeah, which is why they're,
Right.
like, they're
Those
also in
haven't
the,
been marked
they're in the
yet.
middle 5, yeah. So,
Pick our number one.
I'm sorry.
Should we pick our number one?
Yeah, I think we should move in that direction.
Yeah, let's start numbering things.
and also, like, as we start this, realizing, I loved what Erica said about, like, one of the goals, being comfortable with imperfect decisions,
Yeah.
right? Like, there's just,
Yeah.
we want it all. And how much time do we have? We're good on time, it is 9:14. Okay.
So I'm looking at matches because they're good for a couple of things. One, building a fire signaling, two, keeping us warm, and three, potentially boiling water.
I agree with Max.
And are they the only way to do that? Because we don't know if, like, the wood in the area.
True.
But also, like, the other thought I had was, since we're trying to move, do we want to try to be doing everything by wood, or is it faster and easier to just do it by matches?
I think we assume that once we get where we're going, that's when we use the matches. So realizing that we might not be using those instantly, but I think they're important to take with us.
Are they number one?
I think
Yeah.
I think they have so many uses that
Okay.
they probably.
Alright. I think the axe should be pretty high up there, is not what I would.
Well, everyone has a pocket knife, everyone has a stop lead pencil and
Yeah, good
what else? And
Ice
something that
pick.
resembles its ice
Yeah.
pick, yeah, so we all have that.
What would you, with that, okay.
It's on the
I feel
bottom
like
paragraph.
the compass is really important to me, because I don't know where I'm going.
Okay,
I'm good with
I
that.
feel that too. And especially if we're moving, that's important.
Are we okay with that?
I mean, there's other, like, how the sun rises and sets tells you east and west, and like, do we need more specific than just north, south, east, and west?
It helps if we're trying to navigate to a specific place, yes,
But I don't,
because.
I'm not sure I could look at that map and then like exactly orient the compass.
Okay.
So it would be
So
super
I would
useful for
teach you
me.
how to do that then.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely can do
Yeah.
that. That, you know, that's a great point. If one of us has a skill that is unique, we need to make sure that we
Yeah.
share that knowledge with the rest of the team because we can't be.
Dependent on one person, yeah.
Yeah, I can teach you to do that. We can make this happen.
Okay, but then.
Walking activity.
Alright.
I sleeping bag would be 3 for me, I don't know if anybody.
Yeah, we gotta warm up with something.
Would sleeping bag come ahead of axes because we have these other ways we could cut small pieces? Is that what you mean?
I think if the plan is to get to the mining camp and hunker down, then we need sleeping bags.
I can go with that.
And then axes or.
Purification. I can live with that too.
It's not the way I'd order it, but I can do that.
Maple syrup?
Oh, also you were saying the rope and canvas weren't our top 5, but they could be really useful, especially because we don't know what we're going to find at the mining camp, or if anything.
And the mirror, don't forget about the mirror.
Yeah,
We have
mirrors,
to
yeah.
that one way or another.
So, canvas rope or rope canvas?
I would say maple syrup.
Maple syrup, maple
I'm
syrup.
actually good with
Okay.
maple syrup,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
So
food and it's a
6.
container, and it's a metal container.
And then rope canvas, which first?
I think
Canvas.
first.
And then rope.
8. And then mirror,
Yeah.
9.
Okay, and then and can we pause after that, just look?
Yep,
So I like our rum bottle as a fire starter.
so that would be 10.
And a disinfectant.
And now
You-
we're.
Oh, you know, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, good thought, good
In
thought.
case one of us gets hurt.
Can we pause for a minute? We
Should
have
be over
plenty of
with.
time, y'all. It's 9:16, so we still have like 14 minutes left. Can we just take a minute to like read through what we have so far?
Mhm. Let's make some assumptions about why we're ranking.
Yeah, right?
Are they gonna tell us we're gonna get our bottom 5?
There's some sort of score that comes out of, so I've done this before, but it's been 25 years. There's some sort of score that comes out of, we're gonna match to, they have the right answer according to the experts, so they're gonna tell us what this is all used for, like, which is why I remember the rum was, I put rum at 15
Right.
last time we did this, and I remember the rum being a lot higher, and I was like, oh, okay. Just the idea of you have to think about these things as being for other than the purpose that you would immediately be
Right.
like, I'm gonna go buy rum because I need to make daiquiris.
Right.
Yeah.
Or people would look at like razor, I don't need to shave, that's not what this is about, that
Right.
mirror is actually helpful for
Yeah,
signaling.
yeah.
I wonder if we're gonna run into a situation where we have to cut off like the bottom 7 or 8.
Mhm.
And if that's the case, are we happy with?
That's a great point.
So if we only had our top 7 things, for
Yeah,
example.
I like
we
the way
could-
you're thinking
only
about
have-
this,
yeah.
yeah.
So we wouldn't have rum.
And we wouldn't have the mirror.
But we would have things that we thought were most important for getting to where we're going.
And I think a fire can do the same thing the mirror does.
Yeah, and we're
And-
surrounded by everwood trees, our evergreen trees.
Yeah.
Do we think rum is more important than
Baby
10?
trees.
Yeah.
Say that again?
Do we think that rum is more important than this being 10?
I think so.
And what would you, so, give me a
I
potential
don't know
trade
what it-
out.
I don't know. That's what I've been going
So,
at.
the thought about okay, so.
I'd move it up in front of the mirror because of the fire idea.
Yeah. that's
If
a
we
good
we
point.
have fire, so like,
Yeah,
and I mean, yeah.
yeah, that's a good point. And so then what is the, yeah, I'm not sure if we would in front of the road with that.
I don't know.
It showed a bottle, normally a tablet does an amount of water like this, so.
Oh, wow, that's really good.
Yeah, they're, that's the nice thing about carrying tablets or drops is that they're really small and they get you a lot of water.
And to be clear, like we said, they're really only helpful for us if we have something to put the water in, correct?
Right, which is why I think you're right on maple syrup. That can be used not only to feed us as we move, we can use it to boil water in if we run out of,
Once we
yeah,
eat all the maple syrup.
yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna be some maple syrup eating fools.
At first, right?
Yeah.
Like, so we won't actually be able to use the purification tablets
Until we have something to put it in. So
Correct.
either the rum or the maple syrup, either one.
So we're bringing the.
But we're
purification-
gonna, there's snow, right?
It's 9:20.
Can we put snow
Yeah, we can use
in our
snow.
pocket? Oh, sorry, no.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you can certainly do that.
Yeah, 'cause we use this
So
to
what,
put the syrup
so
in.
we are bringing the purification tablets not for the short term, but for the long term?
Yeah.
This is my
The long
question.
term.
Yes.
Because we can't die from diarrhea.
It's for the 2 weeks. It's
Yeah.
for the like really
Yeah,
long
that's
term,
not how
2
it
weeks.
goes.
Right, or hypothermia, right?
So-
That's not the only
so-
way it could go here,
I feel pretty good about having the sleeping bags and about moving. I mean, ultimately, as long as we can keep ourselves moving, we can keep ourselves warm.
And safer, because then we're not in one location. And don't
Are there
get like
animals
that.
on the tundra?
Yeah, grizzlies,
I
this
don't
is
know.
grizzly bear territory.
So, is there anything you wanna revisit in the top 7? In light of this question of what if we only
I
get
just
to
wanted
keep
to
half?
throw it out there
No, I
in
think
case
it's
people
important.
thoughts.
We don't really have much food, but I know ropes are used to make like bear traps so they don't get in.
Yeah, oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, like you'd like tie
Hang
up in
a back bear
tree.
bag, yeah.
Yeah.
Or we might be able to use that to help catch something that we could eat, that we could cook over our fire.
Like fish.
Inside our maple syrup can. This is
Yeah,
really
it's,
good.
we have a ton of, we're surrounded by streams and rivers, so.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can get
totally.
fish.
Oh, we have her.
Does that move rope up above canvas?
I think it does. Rump over canvas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of us have a pocket knife, we all have an ice pick, so we can use that to cook.
Well, ice pick on your
Small
pocket
ice
knife.
pick.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, is that all it is?
Yeah, it's not,
Okay.
it's not like it's not like
What
an
is
ice
a
pick.
stub lead pencil, what is that?
It's one that's
Like a
about
golf
that big.
pencil?
Yeah, yeah, like the golf pencil.
Oh,
Okay.
What could the alarm clock conceivably be?
It's like
Other than a
lying.
total
I
distraction.
think it's 15.
15? We name that? Is it okay?
I mean, unless we can think of.
What else an alarm clock
What
might
am I
do?
using for? Batteries, you can't use it for a flashlight, it's a wind-up, so
Yeah.
it's nothing.
Unless there's something on the innards that we're supposed to MacGyver, and I'm the wrong person to do that.
I just think there's other things that will be more immediately helpful.
Yeah.
So what's
Fish hook,
14?
can we use the inside of the wind-up clock to make a fish hook?
Oh, that's nice. And there's like, assuming like little things you can bend out of shape once you break it open. I think it still lives look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it.
Okay, I'm good with that.
So 14 or 13?
I have the flashlight for now.
I have a flashlight that's 14.
I think we're just gonna be hunkering down.
What about the North Star book? Since we're not planning on moving at night?
I don't know.
That's like low for me.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of doing with that is burning it.
Right. Yeah. Is that, would you put that above a flashlight?
I,
What's the question? Sorry.
Would you put the North Star book above the flashlight?
I was gonna say flashlight I think should be higher.
Okay.
I'd make like,
So
like
11?
11. I'd put flashlight at 11.
So flashlight would be more important than the shoes.
Yes.
And the inner tube and the North Star book.
I can live with that.
Yeah. Alright.
I think the snowshoes are distracting. I think that was one of the things where like, ooh, we absolutely have to have those, and the experts were like,
What are
there you go.
snowshoes made of?
That's going 14.
So it depends on what style they are. Usually they're plastic with, there's like a metal picture comb or like a bunch of metal teeth that grip in and they strap to your shoes.
I can see that being useful to like trap fish, but maybe not.
I don't think we can take them apart because they're pretty durable, and I'm not sure that we have the tools or the strength to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Well, we've got the axe. Maybe we just dull our axe.
But I feel like we can catch fish some other way.
I have faith.
We have a lot of trees to work from.
We're gonna have time to figure this out.
So we still have 6 minutes, just as a time check. So I'm Carmen's writing down what we have so far. One thing I'm wondering about is, so going back to the top 7, purification tablets. They should be there
Because we can't survive 3 days without clean water, and those 13 wood matches, if that's the only way that we have to get clean water and something happens and our fire goes out and we're out of matches,
okay. It's just like a highly variable thing that we really need to make work out. Like water, we really need to work out. And what if we ended up in this place where like the streams were actually contaminated and we didn't know, or like you said, the beavers or whatnot. So this is a way to neutralize something that like we really, really need to make sure it works.
Are you saying you, okay.
I'm just trying to like
If
make
there's
the
like
case.
running rivers, I know that's fairly clean water. Like that
No,
can
if
outdoor
beavers
stuff.
live in it, it's not.
Not a beaver, but
And this
That was my thought
do we
of
know
not
beavers
making
live
it
in this
high.
area?
Well,
I'm pretty sure they do. I mean,
Also-
beavers live in cold places.
Or like there was a mine there, so how do we know that there's not contamination from the mine?
Yeah,
And
that's
it's like
purification tablet's gonna neutralize.
I don't know.
No,
You're right. Yes, you're right. Like, if you're uranium in it, or you guys are gonna purify
Is
that.
there something else you would rather put higher and drop it? Is there something you feel like we're gonna miss if we keep the purification tablets on, or are we just gonna?
That's what I was worried about. Like, should it really be in our top 7? You know what I mean? But I
Yes.
know what you're saying
I
about
think
Yes.
there is, but my question is there something that's not in the top 7 that you feel really strongly about, that you wanna lift up? Because if there isn't, we just leave the purification tablets on it and move on.
The other thing I'm wondering about too, and I'm only asking this conversation because I think we have time, like I think we've finished otherwise. Is does it map to our actual plan? Like our plan of 2-day hike to get there and then bunker down and hope there's resources so someone finds us. Do you know what I mean?
I think it does.
I think it matches.
It's strong.
Okay, then I'm good with that.
We're going to this mining camp. Is it a cave?
There are no buildings.
So it's abandoned and something burned
Because of
down.
the
A
fire.
fire destroyed the buildings.
Right.
But
Okay.
we may find something else there we can add to our kit because at least there've been
Right.
people living there as opposed to being in the middle of nowhere.
So hopefully they have like a radio.
And or like even just a mine shaft that's partly underground that would provide good shelter.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Yes,
Like, if we're
good
gonna be
idea.
underground or in a cave of some sort, then that might push that flashlight up. No.
so I think maybe even before we did that, it tends to be very cold. Think about going into a cave. They tend to be pretty cold. I would be inclined to build a snow.
There's no sunlight, so it just.
So you build a snow shelter basically,
Okay.
and then once we're all in there, we are gonna have body heat. We've got
Iron.
sleeping bags. Yeah, although we may not want to build that, and I don't know. I guess you could if you had.
Yeah, also said here we could get to the mining camp and it could be completely desolate and we could be like, crap,
Yeah.
we need to keep going,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So we
that's true.
shouldn't,
But it's in the right direction.
What's our time?
right, no, it is
Yeah.
in the right direction, I agree
Yeah.
with
Because
that.
we need to write these in our books.
Yeah.
at
And it may
some
be
point.
easier to start a
Iron
fire
is
then,
out.
right? Because
But
they might be,
minutes?
whatever they were mining, maybe.
Are we committing to
I don't really
this
know how.
or what?
Or iron.
I
Yeah.
suspect
I
we're
couldn't
gonna-
start a fire, nor do I know how to mine,
No.
so I'm just kind of speculative.
Then we're thinking, like, to keep things warm and for shelter, I mean, to keep things dry and for shelter. What do we keep
Canvas
dry?
doesn't keep anything dry, does it?
Well, like you could wrap things up in it to transport across the lake.
Yeah, except is it impermeable to water? I mean, normally I assume canvas is hot.
The biggest thing we're carrying with us is the canvas.
Yeah.
And the sleeping bags.
And sleeping
Yeah,
bags,
that's a
but
good
the sleeping
point.
bags are.
Have
not-
wrappers,
So we're
yeah.
carrying
Like-
our own stuff, I think, there's not, it's not like we're dragging something big wrapped in canvas.
But there will be a point when we probably have to go across some water. Unless we-
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll cross
Yeah,
streams
once
for
we're in
sure.
more
I
place, right?
think we have a route there that does not involve having to try and cross the lake.
We have
Unless
trees
we go all
around
the way.
us.
Yes.
We can chop down some trees.
We
Well,
could,
and
actually,
the-
we have rope, we could lash ourselves a raft.
In the interest of time, now we have 1 minute left. Can we do a quick check-in? Are we okay? Like, thumbs up if you're okay with our list as it is? General imperfect.
Give it a
Okay,
shot.
let's report it and,
So you are following these numbers,
Yes,
I just
I am.
wrote them in order.
perfect. So we're just
Okay.
writing those numbers in our,
Yep.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
So now I want to go pull up Google Maps and see if this really works. Does it even exist? That's the next question. I bet it does, though.
Y'all are fabulous.
Yeah,
Yay.
it's awesome.
We survived so far together.
Yeah, of course now they're gonna do something awful like start killing us off or something.
You never know.
I know.
It could be like Oregon Trail, did you ever play that? Am I
It was awesome.
totally dating myself? Okay.
Yeah. No, you're not.
No, I'm
Yeah,
not.
what?
Oregon Trail was the best. Oregon Trail was one of the best
This
games
applies to
ever.
something else.
It was like a
It's
computer
just-
game
it was
and
an
like.
old, go ahead.
No, you got it.
It's an old computer game.
Oh, it's
Like-
9:30.
Oh, we gotta go. Old computer game where you would sort of
Someone
make
take a picture.
decisions as you were crossing the United States. And, but then it would like, you would make decisions, but it would be like, no, they died of dysentery. And like you sort of couldn't.
Like choose your own adventure where it just
Yes,
keeps,
yeah, and like it was predictable to some extent, but not really.
I
And so, like-
wonder if that's.
On that last level, you had to go down that river.
I
Remember?
know, and
You
you're just like, what? I'm not prepared for this.
video?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's old, like.
So the other thing we have to figure out is we're supposed to meet again before Tuesday morning. And I will pop out that I'm gonna be difficult because I have a conference and I will actually be out of town from Friday through.
We're gonna do it back in the room.
Oh, good. Yeah.
We'll probably be able to virtual people in, whoever can't make it.
No,
so.
I mean, I'm gonna be in the woods.
I
I am
wonder-
not virtual.
Maybe we could do,
You said, and when do you leave?
It's